proposing a reduction of the terms. But just as Senator Karungo Thangwa of Kiambu rightly put it, we as a country are so much fixated on the impeachment of the deputy president that so much could just pass by. There's only 1 day left to the end of the public participation process for this proposed amendment. Given the kind of behavior you've seen in Parliament with getting a supermajority so easily, this could just be the very first properly constituted parliamentary process towards amending the Constitution. It could just as well be successful, don't you think?
Sadly, yes. Constitutionally, it would be very unfortunate, because remember that there are certain aspects of the Constitution that cannot be amended through an act of Parliament. And one of those issues is the term limit. So basically the executive, any matters that touch on the executive need to be taken to a referendum. And I think that we've had this conversation, particularly from the BBI case and the conversations around the BBI. And it would be quite unfortunate if our parliamentarians therefore do not learn, or at least do not see things in sync with the Kenyan citizens. And that is coined through what we normally say, vitu kwa ground. As it is right now, and I agree with Senator Kiambu, because we are being played. And I have always told Kenyans that we are actually being played. When you see something that interests both parties of our political divide, particularly the antagonists, as we refer to them, and now the protagonists, then we must be very wary. And this is going to roll until, unfortunately, these issues will pass. Part of the things that we need to watch over is the tone of His Excellency the President. Because if he's interested in this matter, then he's going to extend his term. And that is because he's able to whip both parties of the House, whether opposition, in government and out of government. The Senate is also that particular house that is able to whip, to be able to, pass whatever he deems fit. And we have seen him acting and working very hard on some of the things that he wants to be passed. And once in a while, for the things that do not really excite him, we have also seen him, coming out and being very clear about how things need to be done and who needs to do what. And so for this particular matter, despite, of course, the fact that Liz Mutuku, the reporter who brought the story, says that the government is not keen to extend its term. And I think there was also a story on one of the dailies by Colin Somulo, that must be the Daily Nation, that where part of the UDA party and indeed government is saying that they are not keen to want to follow through that particular constitutional amendment. Time will tell, because we know how politicians play in this country. Of course, we also look forward to certain judicial legal battles, because this, of course, I am also aware there has been petitioned severally at the High Court. And so we look to see how the ball will continue to roll. Bottom line is implementation of the Constitution and respecting the Constitution. And Fred, it is quite interesting to also note that even as we talk about the memorandum documents and public participation process, of course, we have been played, and we have played in the game of Adani, then Schiff, then impeachment. So we lost touch with a number of issues. And I'm sure that even some of the members of Parliament and even MCAs also don't know, and probably even governors don't know that there are certain proposals to want to extend their terms. But the degree of involvement that I have seen in Kenyans in the last few hours, I received a call from Migori yesterday, and they were saying, Kevin, you need to talk to the clerk of the Senate, because even this system is locking us out. We want to send our petitions, and we are trying to log in. So I was asking them, which one are you using? So they said, we are using this one called Senate Justice Legal. So it's Senate JLHR at parliament.go.k, and it's not working. So I told them, okay, try clerk.senate at the same thing. And so after about 15 minutes, they were calling back and saying, hey, nyewe imeenda, lakini mbona wanatufanyia hivi? So if people can call from as far as Migori to want to check why things are not working, and of course, we have also seen online how people are getting very active. We must follow through this process, because if we don't follow through this process, to also demand that a report of public participation on this matter be published so that Kenyans know who said what and how was it said. Because remember that the one for impeachment of Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua was not published. Kenyans do not know. Of course, we were here with you when you were asking, where did they get those numbers? How do we verify the data which they used? It is important that for matters that really require extension of term limits, like this one, need to be publicly, disseminated so that people know who said what. And if parliamentarians decide to say that, yes, Kenyans are for the extension of term limits, how many of them said that against the total population, against those who vote?
There are those who argue that any such initiative to amend the constitution, if it requires substantive amendments and an extension of term limits could be that then it would necessitate a referendum, despite the initiators. Fine, it will be a parliamentary initiative.